Hi, good morning, and welcome to day 7 of your sourdough starter, which may be your last day. So this is mine, and it's, if you can see there, lots of little bubbles, and you want to have a look underneath as well, around the sides if you've got a glass jar that you've got lots of little bubbles. Now bear in mind, if we're feeding it every morning, and I'm a bit later today, that this isn't going to be peak time. So if you were using your starter, you wouldn't be using it now because we've not fed it. So same as before, we're just going to add 30 grams of bread flour and 30 grams of water. So I'm just going to pop it, move that a bit backwards a bit, then you can see me. Let me do that. And so I'm just going to turn my scales on, just going to add in 30 grams of flour. So you're feeding the whole lot again today. So that's 30 of flour and then 30 of water. Now it's starting to get quite hot. So if your starter's got a grey liquid on the top, it's just a bit hungrier, you might want to put it somewhere cooler, but there's nothing wrong with the grey liquid, it's not gone off, you can just stir it through. Hi Zainab. Right, so there's my flour and water, and just like before, I'm just going to stir it all together, mix it in really well. You should feel it thickening up. Now the test really of a starter, we've done kind of 7 days, but will depend on, your water, what your kitchen is like, your flour, all of that kind of stuff. Morning, Sarah. So you can see there it's already kind of started to thicken up. That's sort of what you like. And one of the tests that's not ready yet is when you stir it all in, and then you're just going to look inside and see how many bubbles there are and how quickly those bubbles come back. So it wants to be quite active, quite frothy. So I wouldn't, if this was my starter and I'd fed it this morning, which you always feed before you start baking, I wouldn't be using it now. I'd be letting it rest for a bit to get more active. So obviously every time I show it to you in the morning, it's had 24 hours, so it's not going to be as active as it would be if I'm then putting it in bread. But I can see already I've got lots of little bubbles. If yours is not, hi Rod, if yours is not doing this, then you just keep the same process. So every other day you're discarding half, feeding it again 30 and 30. And then, so one day you're discarding, feed it 30 and 30. The next day you're keeping the whole lot and you're doing 30 and 30. And you can do that for up to about 2 weeks until you feel that your starter is kind of looking a lot more active. Yours has gone quite liquidy, Karen. Okay, yeah, so if it's really liquidy, it's got that stuff on the top. It's called hooch. Let me show you my other one, which I haven't fed in a bit. It might be the same. Actually, this one looks all right. So this is my regular starter, which I've had for a bit longer, so you can see more bubbles. So it just means it's hungry. So if it's getting really thin, you can stir the liquid back in, but just feed it with maybe just the flour. So 30 grams of flour, not the 30 and the 30 of water as well, okay? And you're just gonna have to see. So at this point in time, when you're not using your starter, you would cover it and put it in the fridge. And basically the temperature, just like with yeast, slows it right down, puts it to sleep. And then you take it out, bring it to room temperature, feed it, ready to use it, okay? Hi guys, hi Ariana. So I can see already that my starter, and if you look at yours, if you're doing it with me, has got a few more bubbles. It's nowhere near ready to go, but you can see that's the sign that it's really active. I'm not sure it's coming across super well on the phone, but that's what you want, those bubbles. So you're going to keep going if you need it. If I was going to use this today and it was fine, I fed it now, I would leave it for a few hours, and maybe about tea time, about 4 o'clock, you'll see it will start rising up the jar. You might have noticed it on the last few days. Some of you I know have had stuff that's escaped out of the jar. Hi Molly. And then it's ready to use. And then you'd mix it in with the flour. Go and check out Food Bod Sourdough, Elaine's amazing recipe. So I'm just going to show you, this is some dough actually that I had overnight, and you'll see kind of what you're looking for. So I don't know if you can see there's quite a few nice little bubbles. If you look at it, if you see it's a bit lighter, and particularly that's why I love glass bowls. You can see there all of those bubbles on the bottom and around the side. Now my kitchen gets a little bit warm, so normally it has an overnight proof. So actually I put this in the fridge last night to slow it down, so I'm trying something different. So I'm going to turn it, get it into a shape, and then put it in my Banneton, which is just a fancy word for one of those bamboo baskets that you can order online. If you don't want to order and you don't have anything like that, you're just going to be able to line a Pyrex bowl or something like that, just a round mixing bowl. So kind of now your starter is good, you've got your starter, that's fine, unless you put a dirty spoon in it or it goes moldy or something, it will last forever, okay? So you can gift bits away, you can put it in the fridge quite happily for a few weeks, bring it out, use it again, whatever you want to do, and just kind of, you'll get to know your starter. I'm also not that far into the process, so you'll see lots of bubbles and you'll start to look at the texture and the consistency. You'll see when it's really frothing up. So this is a good fun thing to do. So you can just, give it a bit of a stir, leave it, see how quickly those bubbles come back, and then see the difference in an hour. A few hours time honestly is going to make all the difference, and then you are ready to start making your first loaf if you want to. So I hope that's been really helpful. I'm going to put this all into a playlist, so you've got 7 days of starter, so you know exactly what to do. And let me know, share all your photos and ask any questions about your sourdough journey. And if you're not baking sourdough and you're using this instead of yeast, this is exactly what we're going to be using this week for our recipe. So thanks guys for watching. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon.